Some of you may or may not know, back in 2009, when I first started my YouTube channel, one of the first fragrances that I really, not hyped up, but absolutely loved and had to go on my channel and talk about was Encre Noire by Lalique. Back in the day. Now, of course, they recently released Encre Noire à l'extrême, and god damn, it's a beauty. I haven't reviewed it yet, but you got to watch out for Encre Noire à l'extrême. Now, of course, today the spotlight is on Encre Noire Sport. It took me a while to get it. It was actually my last one from the Encre Noire trilogy to purchase. And I'm just looking at this like, Encre Noire Sporty? No. They can't pull that. There's no way they can pull that off. Shit, man. They nailed it. Hey, what's going on, YouTube fragrance family? Welcome to another Robes 08 fragrance review. Today I'm going to put my nose on the house of Lalique. And, one of my favorite trilogies, or one of my favorite fragrances from Lalique was, of course, Encre Noire. Well, they got its sport-based fragrance from Encre Noire. This is called Encre Noire Sport. Let's get into it. Encre Noire Sport hit the shelves in 2013. Bottle sizes are the 1.7 ounce and the big boy, the one that you see here, the 3.4 ounce bottle. Concentration is eau de toilette. Flankers, you will see them in this fragrance review. Of course, the originator and the beast, Encre Noire. And of course, we got the extreme version, which is the newest version of Encre Noire. And that one is as equally impressive. Pricing online, just for shits and giggles, you go take a look at retail price for Encre Noire Sport. You're looking at around $100. And I'm like, whoa, never ever pay $100. Discounters have this under $50. So the best $50 that you'll spend or under. Really great stuff here, Encre Noire Sport. The nose behind Encre Noire Sport is also the nose behind, well, the trifecta, which can't be a bad thing because first of all, the originator's great. And the newest flanker, à l'extrême, is great also. I'm a huge fan of these three fragrances. But Lorson does some underrated juices, and I'm going to name off a few here that I have in my collection here. First one, Bentley for Men Intense, underrated juice. It does get some love here and there every so often. Le Labo's another 13. I have it. Pretty much full. I'm gonna have to start wearing this a little bit more and review it. Paul Smith Man, super underrated, very inexpensive, good juice. Paul Smith Man, definitely get your nose on that. That's a good one. And also another underrated fragrance. I had a little bit of a hype train a few years back in our fragrance community. Mandarina Duck Pure Black. Mandarina Duck, this lineup is very underrated also. So Lorson, kind of under the radar as a perfumier, not getting the love that she would get. But either way, Encre Noire, that series is probably her pièce de résistance. As far as my collection goes, you can't go wrong with those three. So let's get into the note breakdown of Sport. Let's see what we got that is unique to Sport and of course, which is the same from the original Encre Noire. Because it pulls a lot from the original. So let's take a look at the introduction. We have some nutmeg, bergamot, and grapefruit. So we got some fresh notes here, a little bit of course, some spice with the nutmeg. In the mid, we got something that is a floral, a very uplifting floral, lavender, and of course the cypress from the original. And in the base, we got Haitian vetiver and bourbon vetiver. Of course, the vetiver from the original Encre Noire. Can't go wrong with that. Musk, cashmere, woods ends the fragrance. Major notes to this nose right here in this fragrance. The vetiver, of course. Vetiver is going to be the backbone of the fragrance, just like the rest of the Encre Noire crew. The grapefruit, great in the introduction. And of course, the lavender, which is very much understated in fragrance reviews. Really, the lavender packs a big punch in Sport here and makes the whole package, in my personal opinion. It actually ties together the vetiver, the old school from the original Encre Noire and the new school grapefruit to give it the uplifting. It really ties both of the rough and tumbled and the, of course, fresh notes together. It really pulls everything together. So it's really not, it doesn't get that much spotlight in Encre Noire Sport. Everybody talks about the opening and, of course, the ending, which, has the old backbone to the new stuff. but nobody really talks about more the lavender that pulls everything together. Now I'm kind of going off here because that will be more in my fragrance review, more into the background of this fragrance. So group, this is the woody aquatic, kind of. Now, how many sprays and where? My application for sport. 1 on the chest, of course, 2 on the neck, bang, bang, thank you, ma'am. And then, of course, 2 on the arms. I'm wearing a t-shirt, so inner elbows it is. And oh, that vetiver still hits you, even though the introductory notes are there once you pull your nose closer to the skin. But in my scent bubble here, that Rudy vetiver, she's green and she's a little dark and she's a little earthy. Ah, she's nice though. The last thing that you would expect from Lalique is a sport flanker to their Encre Noire series. I'm not a fan of the overused sport genre, many flops in the designer fragrance game with the name sport on the end of them. So I'm not too sure how I was going to react to this fragrance here. I thought it was going to be the last fragrance that was going to be called sport in the game. And that's why it took me so long to get this. I actually was curious this year, that's when I got it. I was like, you know what? The Extreme's really good. And I'm like, they have a sport one. Maybe I should try it out. So I looked at some reviews and they were very, very positive. So that was the reason for this blind buy. This was a blind buy. I got it from Fragrance X, but I think it was like $30 with my code. Not a big deal. Not going to break the bank. If it's bad, it's going to make an interesting review. If it's great, great. I'm going to let everybody know how I feel about the fragrance positively. Not only did this fragrance work, it's a very, very good, very solid, a standalone fragrance. Don't talk about Encre Noire. Just as a standalone fragrance, not a flanker, a standalone fragrance, this fragrance is amazing. But as a flanker, even better. In the past, it doesn't really surprise me though. You know why? Because in the past, vetiver and citruses mix very well. Grapefruit works very well with vetiver. Vetiver, obviously, you as a YouTube fragrance head, you will know that vetiver is used in a lot of spring scents, summer scents too. It doesn't have to be dark and rooty like, of course, Encre Noire is. So it can be used for a fresher note in a fragrance. So it really isn't much of a surprise that this worked very, very well. So now, here we go. Let's dissect this sucker because you know what? I had fun wearing this fragrance because I can wear this in the spring, I can wear this in the summer, and I can wear it now in the fall. That is the great thing about this fragrance, highly wearable. Encre Noire is, of course, the original. Great for fall, spring, and winter. But this one is, this Encre Noire series is absolutely crazy. So let's delve into sport. And the smile on my face, it says everything. Encre Noire Sport starts off as what you come to expect from a sport fragrance. It starts off, it has some zestiness, it has some uplifting qualities. The grapefruit's very uplifting, which it also has a solid lavender note, which it took me a few wearings to say, holy crap, this lavender is actually pretty pronounced in this fragrance. So a good solid lavender note. And you guys know lavender and me don't mix sometimes. But the lavender backs up that grapefruit. Backing that up and peeking through the whole fragrance is that Rudy vetiver. And it's in the back and it's saying hello and it's saying hi. I'm going to be the prominent note in this fragrance, but not right now. I'm going to give the grapefruit and the lavender its due, and it does. You know, putting my nose right on here, you know, zestiness from the grapefruit is burning off already. She's short-lived. That Rudy vetiver is coming up. It's coming and it's coming, and the lavender is your secondary note here, kind of backing it a little bit. So it's like almost like night and day dancing together with the daytime notes, kind of winning the race right now, but it's going to eventually fold to those, of course, those darker notes, the Rudy, Encre Noire, DNA that's going to smash the crap out of that grapefruit. I pinpointed a watery aspect in Encre Noire Sport, and I was like, ooh, that's interesting, a watery aspect in this one, which kind of, you know, some people kind of explain this fragrance as a little bit, well, watery, a little a little aquatic. I don't want to go watery. It's kind of muddy almost, but it does enhance that sport theme. It really does give it some uplifting quality. So it does have a watery feel to the fragrance. What made me smile when wearing this is they continue to push the original Encre Noire theme while kind of toning it down perfectly to make this work. With, of course, the fresher notes and giving them enough limelight to draw you into the sport theme. To note, the grapefruit and the lavender notes, they're not the most authentic, right? You're not going to get a grapefruit like, what can I say, a Pomelo Paradis per se. It's not going to be big, sparkling, and it's going to be huge. It's actually very good quality, but not the best in the game. Same thing with the lavender. It's not the worst in the game. It's not going to smell like dishwashing liquid or anything like that. It's actually going to be decent, but it's not the best in the game. And of course, coming from a fragrance that, is under $50, what do you expect? I'm just letting you guys know about that. But it is very solid, and it works very well with that vetiver though. So very well done. The one thing that surprised me that isn't noted in many reviews in this scent is the presence of the lavender, which gives any scent a fresh laundry on the clothesline type of smell, or it can smell generic as a cleaner. This is one of those that is very much clothesline type of a laundry. Smells great, and it gives a freshness to the fragrance. This lavender note is a strong secondary note in Encre Noire Sport. It comes in the introduction, and it pulls your attention much more into the mid to heart here of this scent. This lavender, very solid as a note, plays its part perfectly and gives this scent another level to the fresh scene or the whole fresh theme of the fragrance. It really just extends it a little bit because that grapefruit burns. It burns real quick. So you need something else to keep it fresh a little bit. And that lavender is that bridge between the dark vetiver that's coming through here and, of course, that uplifting grapefruit. Now let's get into the dry down, and it's very familiar. If you smelled Encre Noire, you know what you're getting. In the dry down, you have that familiar nutty, rooty, inky, dark vetiver. It felt stretched out a bit in the scent. It almost feels like they used the Encre Noire and kind of stretched it a little bit. So you're getting some nuances here, but it's not as much in your face. It's not as strong, but it's just so perfect for a scent that's built like this. The cypress too. The cypress is a huge, huge note in Encre Noire. And it is a big reason why it's so green and dark, and it pulls that vetiver with the cypress. It aids in the darkness of the original. In here, it's so masterfully blended here that it's also toned down, just like the vetiver. It's almost like they turn the volume down just a little bit, just enough. Not too much that it's off your skin like this, but just enough that you can wear this in the high heat too. And this is the dry down here is absolutely just as good as the Encre Noire dry down. Overall, damn it, Lalique nailed this one. They nailed this theme, and I'm still surprised to this day how well they did with this fragrance. Any fans of the original will enjoy the Sport Flanker. I don't see anybody not. It's just another, an Encre Noire light almost for, those little warmer days, especially if you do you have that taste that you want that rooty, dark vetiver, but you don't want to wear Encre Noire. This is perfect for that. And there's so many days that I wanted to wear something like this. So perfect. I salute Lalique. This is great. Recommended age, 20 and up. Not as a teenager, you wouldn't want to wear this, but vetiver is it's a hard note to pull off. I'll be honest, especially for the younger folks out there. This is more serious. It's not as playful as a lot of fragrances that are sold for you guys. Of course, if you got a nose for vetiver and you're 18, that doesn't mean you can't wear this. This would actually be perfect for you, but you just got to know what you're getting yourself into. This stuff, I would say 20 plus. Fragrances that this reminds me of course, Encre Noire, the original. I wish I had my bottle, but Paul Smith's Story, which is another vetiver, but a very, I think it's discontinued, Paul Smith's Story. A great vetiver, but a lighter vetiver. And it really does remind me of Paul Smith's Story, this guy right here. So another great fragrance. If you want to check out a Paul Smith, Paul Smith Story. I reviewed it back in one of my first fragrance reviews back in 2009, 2010. Go check out Paul Smith Story. Good vetiver. And it was selling for really, really cheap a few years ago. I got to go check it out if you can still get it, but a good one. Best time to wear this fragrance, I wore it more. This one didn't really have a like daily wear or nighttime because it pulls a lot of, it's like night and day, like I said in my review. So I wore it during the day. I wore it to work. Not that it's the best for work, but it's good for work. I also wore it for rainy days, overcast, which Encre Noire is also great for. But this one is still good for those type of days. Seasons, mostly spring. This is a spring fall, like start of fall right now. This thing can, this can stretch out my Encre Noire. Encre Noire can go more into the winter time, but this one is just as great. Spring, fall, and of course summer nights, beautiful, especially those summer nights that are a little cooler, those nights that you're still wearing shorts but you're wearing a hoodie. This kind of stuff is perfect for that. Development, is this linear, average, or complex? Definitely average. It's definitely not linear, but it's not complex at all, so it has a very good good development here. It changes a little bit. Work appropriate, a little daring for that. But, I've worn it a few times. Vetivers at work can be a win or lose. It can be pulled off. Signature scent worthy. I think this is more made for a special piece, something that you'd wear from time to time, not something that you would wear every single day unless you love vetiver. That could be it. But excellent juice. Now let's get into my rating system. Let's see how Encre Noire Sport does on my rating system. Projection, 6 bottles out of 10. A little bit above average. I was actually kind of surprised with this Encre Noire Sport. I didn't really know what I was going to get as far as projection, longevity. It did very well, actually. So 6 for projection. Longevity, 7. Really good. I was surprised. 6 to 8 hours. Very solid. It doesn't hit my 7 to 9, but damn close. 6 to 8, very good in longevity. Compliment factor, this is where it goes boop, 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 boo. Not huge. 3 bottles out of 10. She's not a compliment beast. More of a personal piece. This is more for somebody that's just personally loves vetiver, or personally loves Encre Noire, or liked Encre Noire but felt it was a little too much for them. This may be right up your alley. A 3 there for compliment factor. Uniqueness, still unique. I would give it an 8 bottles out of 10, especially for the price. You're not gonna find a vetiver like Encre Noire does. For these 3, damn it, man. If you're just getting into the fragrance game and you're starting to love vetivers and you're just like, I want more, this is your best bang for your buck right here. You could probably get all 3 of these for under $100, like $30 each, something like that. Probably the best $100 that you spent, especially if you like vetivers. You're not gonna be hating this. This is a great little trio. Pricing versus what you get, I just put that in. 9 bottles out of 10. That's probably the best feature of this. Never pay full retail for Lalique and Encre Noire series. 9, excellent pricing. Versatility, 8. I'm very high on the versatility range. As I've said, you can wear it almost all year round. You can dress this up. You can also dress this down very much casually to work, night, day, you name it. This is really appropriate for a lot of stuff. So an 8. Smell, man, I didn't think they were going to pull it off, and that surprise factor makes it even better. 9 bottles out of 10. A great blend here, constructed well. This is what, if you were going to make a sport version of Encre Noire, this is what you were going to make. They bang on. 9 bottles out of 10. Great juice. Now that goes to an overall score, 8 bottles out of 10. Very solid 8 out of 10, may I add. Really good juice. Buy, try, or pass. Looking at the whole picture, pricing, presentation, longevity and projection, blend, idea, right? Everything putting this thing together, it's got to be a buy. For under 50, you can find this at discounters for around, I would say maybe $20 to $50, give or take. This is a no-brainer. Encre Noire Sport, great stuff. This is a heavy buy. I'm so surprised and in love with this juice at a buy. It's a definite buy for me. So overall, Encre Noire Sport, It gives you way more wearability than the original Encre Noire, depending on your taste. Sport has always been a marketing scheme, to be honest, for fragrance, designer fragrance companies. This scent is still far from being a typical sporty scent. This is not your typical sporty scent. This has hardly anything sporty out of it. It's more fresh. I would not call it overly refreshing, but it's a fresh fragrance. Overall, it is the worst out of the 3 Encre Noires. I'll be honest, complete honesty here. It is the worst out of the 3 for my personal taste. However, saying that, it's a very solid release. These guys are unheard of. These are unique in the fragrance game as far as price point and what you get, quality blend, everything goes. There's no comparing them. There's none. Zero. Zilch. Same here. So it is the weakest of the 3, but the other 2 are almost on, masterpiece level, almost, right? So it has great construction. Lalique nailed the sport version of Encre Noire while keeping the overall construction of the original and actually making it fresher. Well done, Lalique. This Encre Noire collection, simply outstanding. All 3 of them are great. I'll just say it now. Encre Noire, you guys already know what I feel about it. Extreme, I'm going to have a review coming up on it. But this thing is just as good. Really great collection from the House of Lalique. So I just want to thank everybody for watching my review on Encre Noire Sport. Please comment below what you guys think about this fragrance right here. I'd love to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly from all of you. And of course, please remember, a great or poor fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your scent wisely. Thanks, YouTube.